Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Football Overseas YouTube channel. Happy New Year to you all. And here we are now with the first main weekend of 2025, footballing weekend that is. And you won't be surprised to learn, there is a full programme of EFL Championship, the fifth now in the last sort of 2.5 weeks or so. So the fifth round of matches. So it's really gone on a pace in the last couple of weeks over Christmas and New Year, as it always does. So we have games on Saturday, Sunday and Monday this weekend. The bulk of them on Saturday and one each on Sunday and Monday. So New Year's Day, as you expect, threw up a few interesting results, with teams just picking points off each other all across the division, really. It's almost, your league position is starting to be rendered that unimportant, in as much that you just don't know what's going to happen in any match. So it's an interesting period. Everybody desperate for points now for all manner of different reasons, of course. And the only one team that's on a streak of note at the moment is Oxford United. They've had a real uptick in form, that real new manager bounce thing that Gary Rowett has given them. And they've had 3 wins on the trot and have just given themselves a bit of breathing space now between them and the bottom 3. Although they weren't flirting with relegation too much during the season so far, they were nosediving towards the danger zone, weren't they? And they changed their manager. Des Buckingham was relieved, and Gary Rowett is now in charge, and he has given them a little bit of a lift. So, and Wayne Rooney has left Plymouth Argyle. So we've lost Wayne Rooney to mutual consent, but I think it was sort of a bit of a nudge along, really. It just wasn't really working out. Even the home form was starting to ebb a bit. They weren't getting the points at all, which was a shame, really. I mean, their home record isn't that bad, but they just weren't. They were just conceding 53 goals in 24 games is by far and away the worst of anyone else in the division. And they were a little bit of a pushover when it came to away fixtures. So we'll see how that starts. The backroom staff have been put in charge for now, while Plymouth look at the market and see what's about, see what can suit them going forward. And we'll see how they got on in a moment as we go through the fixtures. So we'll pick a few highlights out as we go through, and also concentrate on the preview for the weekend. The first of which is on Saturday lunchtime. 3 games on Saturday lunchtime. The first of which is a real feisty Lancashire Derby. Very little distance between Blackburn and Burnley. And it's always a feisty affair, so we shall look forward to that one. Burnley will be disappointed a little bit with their New Year's Day result, a goalless draw at home to Stoke. Stoke had beaten Sunderland, so there was a little sign there that they were starting to stop that slide, and it was so that's 2 good clean sheets against Burnley and Sunderland for Stoke. So that's given them the 4 points. Because they beat Sunderland 1-0. And Blackburn had a feel-good factor of drawing away at Leeds. I say a feel-good factor because they went 1-0 down late on, and you think, well, that probably is it. The game is up at that stage. But they came back even later on and stole an equaliser. So Leeds will be disappointed with that, because it's 2 more points dropped, but they still hang on to top place at the moment, 3 points ahead of Burnley. So all very interesting, and as I say, Blackburn probably felt pretty good in the dressing room after that. Probably felt like a sort of one of those feel good, like a win type scenarios. But I think they're going to come up against, as we know, the defence that is almost impregnable at the moment in the Championship. 9 goals only conceded, 25 games gone. We're into game week 26. And I think Burnley will revert to type. And yes, another clean sheet. But yes, this time they will sneak the game. But it will be tough. Anything can happen at a local derby. But I'm going to say Blackburn 0, Burnley 1 for that one. Then we have the aforementioned Stoke City, who got that excellent draw at Burnley. And Plymouth Argyle, who despite all the off-the-field sort of goings-on, got a plucky 2-each draw against Bristol City. Yet another goal in stoppage time for Plymouth at home Park. And that, I believe, is the 7th point they've now picked up when the clock has ticked past 90 minutes. So they certainly don't give up. That's one thing they didn't do under Wayne Rooney, particularly at home, was give up the ghost in their home matches. So seven points they've picked up in stoppage time. And that's really kept them afloat completely. So Bristol City were disappointed yet again, conceding late. It's a bit of an ongoing theme now with them. It's costing them a playoff place at the moment because they're only 4 points off at the moment. 5 points off. And I can think of 4 points that they've dropped away at Sunderland and away at Plymouth only in the last couple of weeks or so. So they've got to look at that, I think. It's the game management just isn't quite there at the end of matches for whatever reason. But back to Stoke and Plymouth then. I think Stoke will continue their little mini revival. There's a good chance to against the bottom team. You never sort of think you're going to beat them just because they're bottom. But I think Stoke will edge it. Plymouth will probably give another plucky account of themselves. But I'm going to say Stoke City 2, Plymouth 1. Then we go on to Swansea City and West Brom. Now, West Bromwich Albion. Now, Swansea City fell to the Fratton Park faithful under their spell and got beat by 4-0. And it was a sort of a little, not a reprieve for John Messino, the Portsmouth coach, but it validated his decision to sort of rest a few of his key players against Bristol City in a game that they lost badly, and targeted this match. So it came off for him. So he probably had sort of mopped his brow a few times during that match. But it was a comfortable win in the end for Portsmouth by 4-0. Swansea had their moments in the match, but couldn't, unusually for them, I guess, couldn't find the back of the net. They usually do score a goal or two, whatever their situation. But they fell foul, as I say, went under at Fratton. And West Bromwich Albion had a good 3-1 win at home to Preston North End, who had been getting some really good results of late, generally. But they slipped up at West Brom, as I say. That's West Brom are pretty strong at home generally, and they took them back into West Brom. That is back into the top 6. So that was West Brom, and I think they'll add Swansea to their victims, if you like. I think Swansea, we just don't know what they're going to do, but they'll want to recover from that. But I think West Brom will be too strong on the day. I'm going to say Swansea City 1. West Bromwich Albion 2. Then we have Bristol City and Derby County, and Derby's away woes continued against Sheffield Wednesday. 4-2 was the outcome, a sort of a flurry of goals late on in the match. But Sheffield Wednesday always in control of the match throughout, goal-wise. I think Derby gave a decent performance, but didn't find the back of the net or didn't stop goals going in at the other end, unfortunately, when the moments were there. Bristol City, as I say, were looking for their 3rd consecutive win, but were pipped at the stoppage time post by Plymouth. But I think they might just pick this up. It's a real chance to get 3 points back again straight away and try and edge a bit closer to the top 6. So I'm going to take Bristol City to edge it by 2-1. Then we have Hull City at home to Leeds United. As I say, we've done the Leeds and Blackburn thing. Leeds will be disappointed to have dropped those 2 late points. Hull City were hanging on gamely right until the end for what would have been a really well-earned goalless draw against Middlesbrough. I think I gave a goalless draw in that in my New Year's prediction list. But Middlesbrough nicked it right at the death and got a very valuable win for them because they have drawn their last 3 and they needed to get out of that draw sequence in a positive way, and they did. So they'll be pleased with that late winner. Hull will be disappointed, and this is another tough one for Hull at home to Leeds. I think although Hull are steadily improving under their new coach, I think Leeds will still be too strong on the day and will take the match again, a close one. Hull City 1, Leeds United 2. Middlesbrough, as I say, got that late winner away at Hull, are home to Cardiff, and Cardiff got a grabbed draw at home to Coventry on New Year's Day. So they'll won't be too disappointed with that, but they're still in the bottom 3, so they'll be disappointed with that. but they need to find a way out pretty quickly. But I don't think the way out is via Middlesbrough, unfortunately. I think Middlesbrough will be too strong at home for them, and I think they'll put Cardiff away, and I'm going to take them to win by 2-0. Middlesbrough 2, Cardiff 0. Then we go on to, we're still in the Saturday afternoon games, Norwich City against Coventry City. Now, we know Coventry's away form is a bit flaky. They got undone 4-1 at Portsmouth a couple of weeks ago. And I think Norwich, who had a good win at the weekend against Luton, on New Year's Day against Luton, at Kenilworth Road, it's been a bit tricky to get points at Kenilworth Road. Although Luton are having a rough time, they've been okay at home. It's the away sequence, as we know, that has let them down. So Norwich will be boosted by that, and I think it'll be a boost that will give them a nice home win here on the 4th of January. So Norwich City to win this one by 3-1. Next up is Preston North End against Oxford. Now, Oxford, as I say, are the one team at the moment that's got a bit of a win streak going, 3 on the trot. I think this one might be a step too far. I think Preston have, as I say, the last result aside away at West Brom really picked up some notable results. Just the one win in the one loss in the previous 5. So I think they might just edge this one. Though Oxford will have renewed confidence and could easily take something from this match. But I'm going to, as we've got to predict these things, I'm going to say that it's going to be just a home win for Preston, but by the odd goal in 3. They're just going to nick that. Preston North End 2, Oxford 1. Now we have Sheffield Wednesday, who have they're up into 9th place. As I say, just one loss in the last 5, and a good confidence-building 4-2 home win against Derby. They're playing Millwall, who are just really scratching about a bit at the moment. Just one win in the last 6. I haven't heard. I don't know if I've got this wrong. Then I've just fallen asleep over the holiday and not picked it up. But haven't heard of their new permanent coach is yet. But I think it's, again, Sheffield Wednesday here will be too strong for Millwall, who are a little, as I say, sort of hanging loose at the moment in mid-table. Not quite having any real direction for them. So I'm going to take it Sheffield Wednesday 2, Millwall 0. Now we have Watford against Sheffield United. Now, Watford have had 3 losses in their last 4 matches, and it's a surprising one at home recently as well to Cardiff, as we know, which was their home record, their unbeaten home record, gone. Sheffield United have had a little bit of a blip over Christmas and New Year as well, with 2 losses and a draw. So it's a tricky one here, because they lost 2-1 to Sunderland, who have had a decent spell again of late. And Sheffield United, they've had some tough games, but nevertheless, they'll be disappointed to have dropped the points and slipped out of the top 2, albeit on goal difference at the moment. Watford went to QPR, not far to travel, but they probably just as well, because it would have been a long journey home from anywhere too far from them, because they went down by 3-1. And QPR, as I say, had a really good set of results. And then had that loss and a draw, but they've hit back. They hit back well there. To be fair, that's a really good result to beat Watford. So Watford at home to Sheffield United. Then Watford will want to pick up them, get back on track a little bit. So I think a draw may well suit both teams. Perhaps it won't suit Sheffield United, but I think given Watford's home record in general this season, any point there is a point well earned. So I think it's Watford 1, Sheffield United 1 in that one. So that's the Saturday match. Just one left, one for Sunday, one for Monday. The Sunday game is Sunderland versus Portsmouth. So that's a long old trek for their fans over the weekend. In in the UK anyway, we're forecasting bad weather in the north of England. So hopefully it will all go ahead, and travel will be okay. So a long trek for Portsmouth. We know don't travel too well at times, and Sunderland are on a bit of a high, having beaten Sheffield United recently in their last match, obviously. So I'm going to take Sunderland to continue the feel-good factor that they've had from that match. They're still in contention. They're only 2 points off the automatic spots. So I think they'll want to make the most of playing a side in the bottom reaches, although Portsmouth, you just quite never know how they're going to rack up. We shall see. But I'm going to take Sunderland to win by 3-1. And that takes us to the final match of the weekend's fixtures on Monday night down at Queen's Park Rangers, which is Queen's Park Rangers versus Luton Town. Now, Luton, as we know, or I've sort of emphasised in the past, they've gone on this really awful away streak of 9 successive losses. And it really is costing them badly in the table. They're now only 3 points off relegation, 3 losses on the trot. So Rob Edwards is under a little bit of pressure, to say the least, at the moment down there. Meanwhile, Queen's Park Rangers, as I say, had a really good win at home to Watford. They're home again, and they seem to be just making home form count at the moment. So I'm going to say that they'll do that once again. Obviously, the Luton run has got to end at some point. So the longer it goes on, the more you think, surely this game is going to be the one where they stop that losing streak away. But it's going to be a tough game for them at QPR, an informed home QPR anyway. So I'm going to say Queen's Park Rangers to take the match by 2-1 to end the first weekend of January's fixtures. There we go. So what will happen? Who will be top of the table? It's all up for grabs once again. We shall see what the outcomes are. Then we have a little break, of course. So the FA Cup comes into play in the following weekend. So this is important for teams to sort of make a mark, perhaps in this when they have a 2-week, or at least a 2-week break in the Championship, not a 2-week break in football, of course. If you're still in the FA Cup, well, they're all in the FA Cup because it's the third round. So that's the forthcoming fixtures. That's for the future. The present is this coming weekend. I hope you all have a lovely football weekend, a nice restful one before we start the first full working week of the 2025. As I say, Happy New Year once again to you all. Please keep supporting the channel as you are doing. Like and subscribe, and I will see you all again soon. We've got EFL Cup next week, and I'll be doing a little short clip on those games, and then the FA Cup as well. So I'll be back on doing your uploads for that. So in the meantime, enjoy the Championship weekend, enjoy the football, whatever you're doing. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you again very soon. Thanks for listening.